Okay, we're officially live. Closing bell rings in about 5 seconds. Give it a few minutes for everyone to pile into the socials. Your boy Swinging Bulls back for another earnings stream. The video was just selling off a little bit into the close. We'll go to TradingView. Take a look here. I'm going to be going over NVDA and Salesforce, which is CRM. There's quite a few others reporting as well. Snow's reporting. And also NVIDIA's not going to drop the data until 4:20 p.m. Eastern. That's what earnings whispers say. And the forecast EPS for NVIDIA is $1.52. Hey, what's up, Tammy? Good to see you. $1.52 for EPS. Forecast revenue $65.5 billion. And NVIDIA's been trading in a bit of a range. We're like 170 to 200 since last August, basically. So anyways, that's NVIDIA coming up 4:20 p.m. So we got a little bit of time to burn. Let me just check the candlesticks. Oops, one more time. Yeah, so NVIDIA, there was some selling on NVIDIA going into the close, but now it's kind of just flat. And after hours here, a little bit more selling coming in, actually. Salesforce getting some buying. Timmy says still shows Trading Bros in the live Discord for you. Oh, I don't know what that's about. Maybe you need to update your Discord or something. Unless that stream was never canceled. Yeah, it looks like it was canceled. So anyways, okay, here's Salesforce. Let me go over Salesforce real quick. Let's see here. All right, Salesforce. Forecast EPS $3.05. Forecast revenue $11.17 billion. And oh yeah, I wanted to look at these other companies that are reporting. There's quite a few others. So NVIDIA and CRM, that's two I'm going over. Trade Desk is reporting. Snowflake is reporting. IONQ. Zoom is reporting. New Holdings. AI, which is C3 AI. Urban Outfitters, they're reporting. Maybe we'll get some indication on consumer spending or something from Urban Outfitters, but let me go back to the sticks. Okay, CRM getting a negative reaction. It wicked up to almost 200 a share before the selling started coming in. So to my understanding, CRM doesn't okay, yeah, CRM should, their earnings data should be out. So let me see if I can find out what the EPS and revenue was. And we'll see what's up with that. A little bit of indecision going on right now with Salesforce. Well, it's coming back down a little bit. Candle's jumping around like a jumping jack right now. Let's see. Let me go to my latest feed here. Okay, got the results for Salesforce. From a bird's eye view, the earnings look good, but there is some selling coming in. If this selling stays like it is, maybe they messed with the guidance in a negative way or something. But here's a little snapshot for Salesforce CRM. So they beat EPS really nicely by double-digit percentile. Expected number was $3.05. They reported $3.81. The revenue, they slightly beat on revenue. Year-over-year numbers are great. EPS and revenue. Quarter over quarter is also green. So I'm thinking they probably might have lowered guidance a little bit. As soon as I find out, I'll definitely let everyone know. And NVIDIA is still kind of hanging out here in after hours after it sold off into the close. Okay, Salesforce still going down. I wonder if it was like CapEx or something. Let's see. I'm gonna post the EPS and revenue while I got it fresh here. Let's see. We'll post this in the Discord. Yeah, Tammy, quite a few big companies reporting today. When there's SPY kind of moving a little bit right now. No, SPY's not really doing much. Just because NVIDIA hasn't. Let me fix something here with this comment. 1 second. Salesforce. Okay, so Q1 outlook above consensus, Q4 revenue of 11.2 billion compared with estimates of 11.2 billion. Let's see if I can post this again in the comments. All right, still waiting for NVIDIA's data to drop. All right, let me see if I can make this a little better here. Q4 revenue. All right, this should be better. Sorry, I had to retype that out for everybody. Okay, that's all right. Let me go back over here to my other screen and see if I can get some more data on Salesforce while we're waiting on the video. About 15 more minutes before the video reports. CRM. Okay, so that's what it was. The EPS guidance on Salesforce was lowered. So I figured there was something up with that because, you know, looking from a bird's eye view, the earnings look fine. They beat revenue, they beat EPS, but the guidance is to blame here. For they lowered the EPS guidance. They did announce a $50 billion share buyback. Just something to note there. Also, revenue, I'm going to say revenue came in line for Salesforce. Slight beat, but more like it came in line. So maybe investors were hoping that the revenue would beat the revenue a bit more, but they did lower EPS guidance. Okay, let me see what else I can find as far as red flags, but that's so far the only red flag I can see is they reduced the guidance on the EPS front. Let me see. Bank of Japan to assess effects of December rate hikes. Okay. All right. I'm just still looking for some other red flags, but really the only one I can see right now is they lowered the guidance on the EPS. Let me see what else here. It also the guidance for the fiscal year. It looks like they lowered the low end of the revenue range. The consensus was 46 billion, and the low end is 45.8 billion. So I suppose they lowered the revenue guidance a little bit as well. But more or less, it's the EPS guidance that was lowered. So that's for Salesforce CRM. Let me check a few other things here. Full year guidance. So again, the full year guidance on revenue, the low end was kind of lowered a little bit. Management flexing their balance sheet. Agent force AI narrative in play. Okay, but they're down in after hours. Personally, I think this pullback's going to be short-lived. They also announced a $50 billion share buyback plan. So that should help with the stock price in the future as well. Here's some commentary from the Salesforce. We got about 10 more minutes for NVIDIA, everyone, just so you know. But let me go over some commentary from the higher ups on Salesforce. The CEO, Mark Benioff, he said, "We set another record for Salesforce this quarter with 11.2 billion in revenue and over 72 billion in RPO." Ninja says, "Look at snow." I could pull it up on my other chart here, I suppose. Snow. Okay, yeah, snow's getting snow's catching a little bit of a bid here. I mean, it's up a little over $8 a share, almost 5%. Snow was also up 5% on the day. So I had a nice intraday gain, and now it's up about 5% in after hours. So yeah, snow looks good. I'll go over them after I'm done with Salesforce, and we'll see what their earnings data was. But Mark Benioff, the CRM CEO, He says our customers are already executing billions of business actions and processing trillions of tokens through Agentforce. A couple comments from Salesforce's CFO. Our strong fourth quarter results reflect disciplined execution and our commitment to operational excellence. Record cash flow and expanding margins combined with our AI leadership continue to create long-term value for our shareholders. So just a little summary and shout out to the Wall Street Diaries to little summary. Salesforce closed the fiscal year with record-breaking performance on both revenue and profitability in the fourth quarter. The rapid adoption of the Agentforce platform and the Informatica integration have solidified the company's position in the enterprise AI market, while the steady expansion of operating margins delivered a standout performance. So, like I say, Salesforce's earnings don't look bad at all outside of them lowering the EPS a little bit on the guidance. So, like I said, I think this is this pullback here is going to be short-lived. I'll probably go ahead and draw a fib on there because it might not even come down to after hours low again. We'll see. It's already retraced about 50% of that red candle. If it gets back above 188.75, that's going to be looking pretty good. That's going to reclaim these levels that it just sold off. So we'll see. I'm looking at 188.75 on Salesforce to be reclaimed, and then my confidence will go up quite a bit that this is going to retrace all this selling here. So we'll see. Let's find out when Salesforce does the earnings call. Oops, hold on. I'm going click happy over here on my other screen. Hold on. Let me post this in here and see if that works. YouTube's not posting any of my comments today. Boo-hoo. That's all right. That's all right. Let's find out when CRM's going to do their call, because it's probably going to be either 4:30 or 5. And then we'll be ready for NVIDIA. And then, yeah, I'm definitely interested in going over Snow as well. So CRM, investor relations. Let's take a look. This is Salesforce. All right, I'm going to cover up NVIDIA just for a second because they're not really, their earnings data should be dropped in about 8 more minutes. But let's see here. Okay, so we got the press release here. I'm going to post this link for anyone interested in taking a deeper dive into Salesforce. Okay, YouTube actually let me send that link through. I'll post it in Discord as well. Tammy says IONQ moving. Snow's running. I want to see this press release real quick. Okay, so it's a 17-page PDF document. So if you go to that link I just posted in the comments, that'll take you to what I'm looking at right now. And I already went over most of the commentary from the CEO and CFO. We know they beat EPS forecast, but they lowered the EPS guidance a little bit. Free cash flow of $14.4 billion. That is up 16% year over year. They returned $14.3 billion to shareholders, including $12.7 billion in share repurchases and $1.6 billion in dividends. And then they announced another $50 billion in share repurchase program, which was authorized, replacing all previously unused authorization. So whatever was left on the previous share repurchase program is basically just going to be replaced by this new $50 billion share repurchase program. And they also increased the quarterly dividend to 44 cents per share. And that's up 5.8% year over year. We already went over this commentary. So I want to see when they're going to do their call. So here it is here, webcast. Let me click on that. And it's at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So Salesforce is going to do their earnings call at 5 p.m. Eastern. So 45 more minutes before you get to listen in on this call, okay? So what we're doing now is just kind of looking at the initial reaction to the earnings data. It's come back to the 25% retrace right around 185 a share. It's kind of just sitting there right now. Obviously, support level number 1 is the after hours low, 182.73. That's for Salesforce. Okay, we got about 5 more minutes for NVIDIA, and then we'll get their reaction. Get your popcorn ready. I'm gonna look at snow while we're waiting. I'll put NVIDIA over here on the left while I'm looking at snow on the right. Okay, let me look up. So now that we know what's going on with CRM, let me see what I got on snow. And give me 1 second here. Snow retraced all the positive move it just had. It came all the way back down to where the regular session goes. That's why you got to give these things a few minutes. That first reaction, a lot of times, is not the real reaction. So here we got snow. Made a nice move up to 182.88 after closing the regular session at 169.21. Was up 5% during the day. But now, look, it's right back to where it closed the regular session at. So that move basically means nothing at this point. But let's see what happened. I want to check what was the, let me oh, got too many pop-ups here. Hold on. We go to snow right here. So their forecast EPS was 27 cents, forecast revenue 1.25 billion. Go back to the sticks. So Snowflake just faded that whole positive initial reaction. Let me see if I got their EPS and revenue. Okay, their GAAP EPS they missed by quite a bit on snow. They did beat revenue. Revenue's up 30% year over year. Product revenue is also up 30% year over year. But the EPS is what they missed. So that's kind of probably why it just faded, this whole positive move it just had. That's one red flag I can see here. And the GAAP EPS, the estimate was negative 65. They reported negative 90. So you know that's almost a 50% miss on the GAAP EPS. Let's see here. I mean, other than that, everything else doesn't look bad at all. And this is for Snowflake. Net new customers are up 40% year over year. $1 million plus customers is up 27% year over year. They have over 9,100 AI accounts right now. And the CEO says this past year has been transformative as the promise of AI became real, and Snowflake sits at the center of the enterprise AI revolution. Look, as I'm saying that, it's selling off. So it is officially red in after hours. So maybe this, you know, again, the red flag I'm seeing is they missed EPS by quite a bit. And they did take a net loss, 309.6 million for GAAP net loss. Quarter over quarter EPS was red. Let's see what else we got. We'll find out when Snowflake's going to do their call. But Snowflake, this might be just a sell the news event here. Let's see here. So that positive reaction totally got faded, and now it's going the other direction. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing as far as the red flag is. They missed EPS by quite a bit. So I think investors are a bit concerned with that. So it's there's some selling inbound on it right now. It's down about 2.5% right now. I want to find out when they're going to do their call. Get that information for everybody. I'm just looking at some other things that might be some highlights. Bottom line for Salesforce, revenue beat. But the GAAP loss was wider than expected. Okay, that's really what some is summing it up for Snowflake. Is the GAAP loss wider than expected? Investors are not liking that at all. So that whole move just got retraced, and now it's red. But let me post this here in the comments. Let's see if YouTube lets me post this comment. Nope, that's okay. I'll post it in Discord. This is for Snowflake, if anyone was. So Snowflake did double beat, but again, they it was the gap, the net loss on the gap. Let me go back up here to where I got that from. Yeah, the gap loss wider than expected. All right, so let me see here. So the non-GAAP EPS came in at 0.32, but it's the GAAP EPS that they missed big on. All right, let me find out when Snow's going to do their. Okay, it's 4:20. We should be getting NVIDIA's data any moment now. That's why everyone's here. Got about 200 people tuning in on X and YouTube, and a nice little group over here in the Discord. What's going on, Dan Gleesick? Good to see you. Kenny Penny's here. Ninja's here. Nikki's here. Paul C. Rule Trade. Sad Boy Slim. Sad Boy Slim, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Shin's here and Tammy's here. So NVIDIA is like kind of frozen right now. Okay, there's some buying coming in. Earnings data still getting digested, I would imagine. Snowflake's still trying to find the bottom. See what we got. I'm going to go to my latest feed. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Everyone's waiting patiently on the data. I'm not seeing it yet. I'm not seeing it yet. Let me see the earnings call. Okay, I see it now. So NVIDIA just reported earnings. The estimate for EPS was $1.53. They reported $1.58. So they beat that. The revenue estimate was $66.2 billion, and they reported $67.4 billion. So they beat on that as well. So double beat on NVIDIA as far as the EPS and revenue forecasts were for this earnings announcement. Q1 guide, they also increased the Q1 guide. The consensus for the Q1 guide, $72.5 billion for the revenue. They increased it to $74 billion. So double beat NVIDIA, and they increased revenue guidance. Also, the gross margin came in at 75.2%, which also was above forecasts. So, you know, NVIDIA's earnings, they're good. They beat. I don't think it's anything fantastical, though. And, of course, NVIDIA has been running for a few days now. Let's see the daily chart. Yeah, it's printed. Let's see. I guess I would go from this low here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, like 7 trading days in a row. It was trending up going into this earnings. Let me go back to the 5-minute chart and see. So, I mean, it's holding up. You know, NVIDIA was up almost 1.5% today. It's up 0.5% in after hours. I mean, overall, it's you know, for the bulls, you know, it's not selling off. They did beat EPS. They did beat revenue. They did increase the revenue guidance. They beat the gross margin forecast. Data center at $61.3 billion. That's a record. AI demand surging. So maybe investors are just waiting for the actual earnings web call with the higher ups to make a move here, because it's really not doing anything with the data drop. So maybe we actually get the move when they do their earnings call. So let's find out when they're going to do their call. We go back here. Hey, Kenny, how you doing? We go to my other screen and figure out when they're going to do their call. And I'll have that information for everybody. I'm going to go back, actually go back here. Okay, Salesforce trying to bottom. 182.73. That's the post-market low for Salesforce. It's trying to work on a little green candle right now, so we'll see. But it's not out of the woods for the bulls as far as this reversing. I like it back above 188.75, and then maybe it's on to something. NVIDIA, again, it's just really not doing anything right now. The price is kind of just stuck, as I think investors want more clarity, probably on the guidance and things of that nature when they actually do the call. But it's really not moving right now. They did double beat. They did raise guidance a little bit, but the price is just not moving. So here's the financial results. Let me post this link for everybody. This is the NVIDIA Investor Relations page. There we go. post it in the Discord for everybody if anyone wants to take a deeper dive into their earnings. And let me click on the let me just click this webcast here and see what time it's going to be. 5 p.m. Eastern. So NVIDIA's web call isn't for another 30 minutes. So 5 p.m. Eastern, that's you got about 30 minutes to burn before they actually do their call. The price is actually moving a little bit now. Had some people in the Discord earlier thinking this was going to be a sell the news event. It might be. I mean, all these stocks are kind of in the red. We were looking at Snowflake earlier. Snowflake is in the red. Salesforce is in the red. And NVIDIA is actually slightly green from where they closed the regular session, but it printed these 3 red candles going into the close. So, you know, technically NVIDIA is green in after hours, but it's obviously lower from their high a day. But, you know, maybe this ends up being a sell the news event with all these stocks being down right now. We'll see. Maybe NVIDIA can turn things around. It's printing a green 5-minute candle right now with a big bottom wick. So there is some buying going on, kind of turning into a doji candle now. So still indecision on NVIDIA. And their call's at 5 p.m. Eastern, so 30 more minutes for that. But we do have the earnings data for NVIDIA, Salesforce, and Snow. Let me just see what else I can find on NVIDIA before I move on. Because I want to go over a spread trade that I opened up yesterday afternoon. And if anyone in the Discord took that trade with me, we're officially green on that today. Let me look at some more things here. Let's see. AI data centers and GPUs still in near unlimited growth. Okay. So yeah, NVIDIA beat. And they raised guide a little bit. And they beat the forecast for the margin. They set a record for the data center revenue. And of course, they beat EPS and revenue forecast. So everything looks fine on NVIDIA. It's just hasn't caught a bid yet. Like I said, it kind of rallied for the past 7 trading days going into this earnings. So maybe these results were getting priced in. But I think maybe there'll be a secondary move when they do their call in 30 minutes is what I think. Let me just look at the Discord. Don't look like we got any questions there. So yeah, I think to wrap the stream up, I want to go over a spread trade I opened up yesterday afternoon on Amazon, which I think is a pretty good trade. I'm going to pull up Amazon. I'll keep NVIDIA on the left. Salesforce still trying to find the bottom here. It just almost tested post-market low. So verdict's still out on the price action on Salesforce as far as whether they're going to reverse or not. But let's go to Amazon's chart. And I'll pull this up. I'll go daily chart on Amazon. And yeah, I really like the chart setup on Amazon. And this is the spread trade I opened up yesterday afternoon. The expiration date is March 6th. This is just a screenshot I took of Option Strat when I constructed the trade. So March 6th, not this Friday, but next Friday. That's the expiration date on the spread. It's a bull put spread. The technical term is a vertical put credit spread. That's the technical term. Bull put spread is kind of like the slang term, just to help people remember what direction it is. But this trade is actually neutral to bearish. You could be neutral, or the underlying stock price could be neutral on this, and you could still win the trade. So Amazon was trading at 209.15 when I opened the trade yesterday afternoon. Looking at the daily chart on Amazon, how I determined to pick the strikes on my spread is almost looks like kind of like an inverse head and shoulders on Amazon. Kind of a sloppy one, but it's there nonetheless. Got the left shoulder here, you got the head down here, you got the right shoulder here, the inverse looking. So I basically just put my spread right below the right shoulder. That's where my spread's living right now. The trade's still open. I'm still in it. And Amazon, had a negative reaction to their earnings, actually gapped down. There was actually 2 gap downs on Amazon. So now there's 2 gaps to fill on the upside. Do we know exactly when these gaps will fill? No. Sometimes they fill within a few days. Sometimes it takes weeks. I've seen gaps be unresolved for months. We don't know, but they're there. And the closer the price can get to the gap, the more quicker I think it'll fill. And the price is basically right there right now at where the bottom of the gap is. So Amazon kind of printed a little doji candle today, but nonetheless, this was a good setup for me for a put credit spread. And yes, we're trading the puts. That does not mean we're bearish. If it's a credit spread, we're technically short the puts. And anytime you're short, you're doing the opposite. So if you're doing the opposite of a put, then we're neutral to bullish on Amazon. I still got NVIDIA on the left here. It's printing a red 5-minute candle right now, but nonetheless, there's really not much going on with NVIDIA's price action right now. They did double beat and they did raise guidance a little bit. It's just not catching a bid and there's no buying going on right now. So that's why I think investors probably want to wait for the actual earnings call to see what the CEO and maybe the CFO has to say during the live call. And again, that starts at 5 p.m. Eastern. But Amazon, you know, I feel really good about this spread. I opened it yesterday afternoon. I did have a little bit of green on the table today. I definitely want to try and get at least 75% or more on this trade. And this was the setup. So right below that right inverse shoulder. Okay, NVIDIA's, I had to put a halt on that. Here we go, left side of my screen. Whoa, that was a lot of volatility. So institution or hedge fund finally pulled the trigger on something. Here we go. Okay, NVIDIA's up to 200 a share. It's still kind of jumping around quite a bit. So let's wait for the price to settle. But hey, we finally got some action on NVIDIA. Let me move this Amazon trade to the side because we're finally getting a move on NVIDIA here. So patience paid off as far as spectating goes. Let's see. Yeah, sad boy, it's good to see you though, man. I mean, we used to chat all the time. So here's NVIDIA. Closed the regular session at $195.56. Was up 1.4% on the day. Here it is in after hours. Just broke above 200. I know there were some people in the Discord that did get some lotto calls on NVIDIA. It's looking like those might pay off. Again, let's give it a moment to make sure this doesn't do some crazy reverse Uno and go back the other way, right? We see that all the time. But so far, it's holding up. So all this price action before this move up, you know, it looked like the video was red and down. It totally reversed, and now it's green. So wow, I don't want to speak too soon, but it's looking like a grats to the NVIDIA bulls. We'll see. It's up about $5 a share right now. So good stuff. Finally got a move on NVIDIA. Let me go back a few screens on my feed here. And let's take a look at some other things. Refresh my screen. And I did put the link in the, okay, good. Yeah, I got some good, a good breakdown from my buddy Shai Balor on X. And he always puts a good summary here. So I'm going to post this in the Discord for everyone. So there's an update from Shai on NVIDIA. So again, they beat revenue, they beat EPS, they beat the data center revenue expectation. Gross margin, I guess, came in line, but Q1 guidance was raised. So here we are. Like I said, I couldn't really find anything negative on NVIDIA's data. It was just strange that the price wasn't moving. Obviously, big money was still deciding what they're going to do. And here we are. There's buying coming in. It's up almost $6 a share now, up about 3% in post-market. It's looking like a grats to the NVIDIA bulls. And if you did do a lotto call option on this, you know, moving forward, I would probably, I mean, I try and buy my calls in the money or at the money if I can. Of course, if it's a lotto trade and you don't want to spend a lot of money on the scratch-off ticket, you know, you can go out of the money. The only way you're going to win those is if you get a really big move. But, you know, if you were somewhat close to the money on an NVIDIA call, it looks like those are going to pay. NVIDIA just hit 202 a share. So that's really nice. It's looking good for NVIDIA. So anyways, maybe I can still go over. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to shut all this down. Go back to Discord. I'm going to keep NVIDIA's price on the left so we can watch it, but I'm going to finish up talking about this Amazon spread trade. And see if I can just make it real small on the right here. Whoops. My screen's bugging out on me. Hold on. Hold on. Get rid of this. Did I just accidentally close it down? No, it's right here. Okay, so this was the Amazon spread trade. Still got the price of NVIDIA on the left here. I'll put the price right here. Let me do that. Yeah, I'll move it over so we can still keep our eye on it. NVIDIA just broke 203 a share. Looking good for the NVIDIA bulls right now. So anyways, you know, a little bit of a sloppy inverse head and shoulders on Amazon after their earnings sell off. I'm pretty confident that the selling's probably over with on Amazon. It started printing some good green daily candles after the selling from the earnings. So I think it's probably on the way up to fill these gaps. I am bullish on Amazon for these gap fills. So I'll just call it a gap fill trade. Not financial advice, just what I see on the charts. And of course, it's Amazon. I mean, huge name, monster company. I think these gap fills, these gaps fill pretty soon. Again, I don't know when, but pretty soon. That's why I did a credit spread trade, because if they don't fill soon, but the underlying stock price of Amazon stays above my spread, which is located right here, right underneath these two candles of the right inverse head, the right shoulders of the inverse head and shoulder here. That's where my spread's located. As long as Amazon stays above that, I'm still going to win the trade. So I'm totally okay with that. This particular spread trade was $2.50 wide. You could see chance of profit was 73%. So high probability trade on Amazon that I set up, which should be the case with most out of the money credit spreads. And the buying power needed on a 2.50 wide spread would be $250 for each spread. I actually opened up 4 of these. See if I can make a quick 200, you know, a little over $200 on this. But if we receive $54 credit on the spread, and the spread is 250 wide, the buying power you need for each one. This particular spread pays a potential 21% return on buying power in a short amount of time, only 10 days, because I opened this up yesterday and the trade expires next Friday. Now, if Amazon, you know, we don't always have to hold these to expiration, and specifically the credit spreads. State of decay is in our favor. And if Amazon does make a nice move up, maybe next, you know, I don't know, maybe tomorrow or the beginning of next week, it starts to fill this first gap here, ends up back around 220 or something. We absolutely don't need to hold this Amazon trade until next Friday. We'll have the majority of our max gain on the table, and we can go ahead and pocket that, and then eliminate all our risk and move on to the next trade. So just wanted to share this Amazon spread trade. Opened this up yesterday afternoon. Of course, if you want the trades in real time, gotta join the Discord, right? But it's a little after 4:30. NVIDIA again isn't doing their earnings web call until 5 p.m. So about 20 more minutes. If you're looking if you're viewing on YouTube here, that's the link on the bottom of my screen. You take a screenshot of that. That'll take you right to their investor relations page where you can join the web call. And again, it starts in about 20 minutes. But yeah, that's really all I got for today. It's definitely looking like a grats to the NVIDIA bulls. I figured if it was going to come down, it probably would have came back down by now. So the buying pressure is on for NVIDIA. And again, I know there was a handful of people that took some NVIDIA call trades before the regular session ended today. If NVIDIA holds up here above 200, you should have a nice present for you, nicely wrapped with a bow on it tomorrow morning when the regular session opening bell rings, and you should have some profit on the table. That's assuming your call strike was somewhat close to the money. I mean, if you picked a call strike, I mean, even 200 or below, and NVIDIA stays above 200, obviously those strikes are going to be in the money, and then you get the benefit of the much better delta on the appreciation of the contract, if that's the case, if they do end up in the money by tomorrow, which means you know, the volatility crush might not hit you as bad, because the delta will counteract that if your strike ends up in the money. So you should wake up with a decent payday tomorrow morning if NVIDIA holds above 200. So far, it's doing a good job of holding above 200, trading just below 203 right now. So yeah, congrats to the NVIDIA bulls. I know that's why everyone was here. We got a positive reaction. I'm curious if SPY is also up. Yeah, look at that. Wow. I'm gonna go, let me check triple Qs. Yup, triple Q and SPY, both rallying in after hours in sympathy with NVIDIA's positive reaction. So yeah, that's really all I got for today. My name's The Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I'm one of the option coaches over here in the Discord. If you're interested in trading spreads and maybe just don't know where to start, or you know, you want to get educated on them, and I of course alert spread trades every single week in the Discord. I also run a ton of the wheel strategy. I got 6 different wheel strategy trades open right now, and I usually alert 1 to 2 spreads a week. So we get like 4 to 8 spread trades a month, basically. So plenty of action to go around if you're interested in that kind of trading. But if you are, check out the links in the description. You can join the Discord, see how you like it. If you do join the Discord, tag me in the chat. I'll come by and say hello. Maybe we can chat for a little bit. Maybe there's something I can help you out with right away. You know, you never know. Also, if you're looking for a free watch list that gets delivered to your inbox every morning at 9 a.m., check the first link in the description. 100% completely free. A lot of people really been liking that watch list we send out every morning. Thanks, Paul C. I hope you have a great night as well. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I do have another earnings stream tomorrow, and we can just take a quick peek at what that looks like for tomorrow's earnings session. I'll just pull over earnings whispers real quick here. Oh, there we go. And let me see if I can pick Thursday. There's 167 stocks reporting after the closing bell tomorrow. We got CoreWeave, we got Rocket Lab, we have Dell, we got Mara. I'm very interested in the Mara earnings. I currently have 225 shares of Mara. And SoundHound's reporting, Duolingo, Intuit's reporting. I mean, tomorrow's also another big day. Monster Beverage is reporting tomorrow. Rocket Companies, that's Rocket Mortgage, I believe. So, you know, we got some big companies reporting tomorrow as well. Yeah, sad boy. I'm rooting for the RKLB Bulls as well. So, you know, that's what we got on the schedule for tomorrow's earnings. So I hope everyone has a fantastic night. I'll be back tomorrow for another earnings session. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next stream. Cheers, y'all. Bye.